got Chris and Ian on Zoom. Guys, how are you?
We're good.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm great. You guys are like super popping online, so I'm like super excited to talk to you guys. How have you guys been?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I think this year was wild and crazy, and I think now I am personally feeling a cloud has been lifted, just like around all of us, but also like
Right.
specifically myself. And I'm feeling good these days.
Yeah, so excited that like the world is now opening and we're able to actually do things and do things outside of the house because we kind of started our whole TikTok thing in the house during quarantine
Right.
and it got very, just everything, all of our work was done inside. So I'm excited to be able to leave the house finally.
What made you even jump on social and TikTok? Like, what made you get started with that?
We were bored,
Yeah.
and we started doing lip syncs to
For your life.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was like we were doing Broadway lip sync things on our Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Like we weren't doing it for anyone or anything. It was just like we're bored, literally going stir crazy, sitting in his uptown New York apartment, and someone kept saying like, just put these on TikTok. Like there's a whole app that is made for that.
Right.
So once I downloaded it just to kind of scroll, I was like, oh, there's a lot of things you can do on here. And then we started doing some other things from there, and it kind of, snowballed in the way that it does.
Took off.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because when you hear these stories, there's like no elaborate plans. There's no social media guidelines. It's literally, I'm just doing things that make me feel like I am sane or that I'm laughing to or whatever. And it just really blows up. So I'm assuming that you guys didn't even realize that it would get this big.
No. There was like a hope, I think, when we first started. In my head, I was like, well, I see some people really blowing up for doing things that we can also do. So maybe that'll happen to us one day. But I wasn't like, this for sure is how it's going to go. Like, we can do all of this so well. We're going to be famous off of it. And we were just kind of like trying to get through our quarantine days. So when it did start happening, it was very surprising because we had just kind of been like literally surviving before that.
Yeah. I have a question. At what point did you realize that this was big?
Oh, you take it.
I think, oh God, there was like a moment where we were in Nantucket at his like family's house, and like some videos had been posted, and like you said, like we were all kind of craving a thing. And for me, I was like, oh, I thrive off of being with friends and like vibing and sparring with like my group. And so he pointed his camera kind of sometimes at me and just put it, and like it just allowed me to like kind of improv with him. And then that series of those videos started to kind of like take off. And then I remembered it was like, this is really random, but it was like, oh, maybe we could join Cameo. Like that was that moment of like, oh, if we're thinking of Cameo, like there's something here. It was a moment for us, I think. It's so random, but
I just remember that.
How was it being quarantined together? Were you guys like at each other's throats or what?
It was definitely like a huge change from how our relationship started because we were long distance before quarantine. And so I was actually in college and I was on my way down to DC for spring break because that's where I'm from. And I stopped at his place in New York before then, but that's when everything was shutting down too. So my parents were like, don't come down because New York is now the hotspot for it.
Right.
So we kind of like accidentally moved in with each other. And I think there were a lot of like growing pains here and there of figuring out, okay, now we were long distance. Now, how do we live together? Because neither of us had ever lived with a significant other like ever before that. And it wasn't really our plan. So I think it was difficult, but we also found like some beautiful moments that came from it. And some which are documented and others which are like we really were able to just like coexist for a minute. So there were learning things, but there were also, I think there was a balance.
A lot of growing pains.
Yeah.
Right. I was about to say it's almost like the pandemic forced you guys together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of like letting go of a past identity. Everybody had that, right? You're like all of a sudden shacked up with your own kids more than anyone is ever used to or has to be usually. So yeah, it was just a lot of that, like a discomfort with getting comfortable.
Right. So when you guys are posting and you guys are reading the comments, what are some of the comments that stick out to you that you take away and you're like, wow, this is the reason why, we're just on here, we're having fun, we're using our platform for good?
I think it's when I've received a few comments or DMs of people saying like, I hadn't had much interaction with any gay people in my life, or one of my family members just came out to me and I wasn't sure how to take it, but you guys have kind of showed me that it's okay and it's like a very normal thing, and you made it very easy for me to accept something I hadn't come in contact with often. And those kind of warm my heart, because that's kind of the goal, where we're never really saying we are champions of the LGBTQ community, but in our existence, we are a part of that community. And just by showing our normal lives, I think we normalize that in a very palatable way, which sometimes people need it to be palatable to understand.
Right. So, of course, June is Pride Month. Tell us what this month means for you guys.
A lot of rainbow colors. No, but
That's
just
true.
like I think what I love about Pride is that there's a sort of unabashed way that like our community comes together to really like share who they are and express themselves, as Madonna once sang. And like it's lovely that we have this like this month where that gets to come out, and people are, I think, a lot more, people feel safer. There's like this like umbrella of, oh, I'm gonna maybe show or showcase that thing that I wouldn't maybe like post, or I'm thinking social media too, because that's like where we see a lot of that world. But it just kind of feels like a month-long Christmas.
It's a great way to
Long
describe it.
Christmas. That's the first time I heard that, and actually, that's really good.
Yeah. I like
Mhm.
that.
I want to talk about the new merch that you guys have out, the I Love You merch. Tell us all about that.
Oh, well, I'm currently wearing, I wasn't a bucket hat person, but then all of a sudden I was like seeing everyone wear these bucket hats. And I actually, are you a bucket hat? Or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm a bucket hat person. I feel like my head's too big to wear one.
Same. This is a small size on me, but I'm
Looks
just
good.
kind of, thank you. I'm saying yes to the awkward mess of it. The like sort of,
looks great.
thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really digging the bucket vibes, but we have these bucket hats, and we did 2 merch drops earlier this year, that were very centered around,
That was last year
now, that were around a lot of the sayings or like sentences that people kind of fell in love with that came from some of our content. And this time around, we had the idea, Chris always finishes captions with I love yous, and we're very big on like just saying that to our following and just people in general.
Right.
And so we came up with this I love you collection, and it's for summer, and it's really cute. And he's wearing the I love you hoodie, which are really, really comfy. And
Those are dope.
yeah, it's like the palette is like, I'm really excited about. We've got these towels and tote bags that are weirdly like my favorite items, because the tote bags I literally love. I love a big bag, and they're so cute. It's perfect for the beach. And I just think like the world could use a lot more color. And it just felt like really organic to try and have people love the product separate from just like, oh, Ian said that once, or Chris said that once.
Right.
And so it's kind of an experiment, and it's like entrepreneur 101, and we're learning. We're learning, and it's fun, because you just kind of go like, I'm putting this out in the world and let's see how it does. And it's doing really well. People really like it. And I love it. And so we love it.
We love it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, that color, that hoodie right there, that's something that I would wear because it makes my skin tone pop. So please let everybody know, where can they get it? And where can I get it?
Yes. Well, you can get it on both of these places. You can either go to Chris and I's Instagram,
Okay.
That's at Ian Paget, IANPAGET, or
at Chris Olsen, CHRISOLSEN.
And we both have 2 little buttons that say view shop, and you can shop from there and look at pictures that we tag, or you can go to chrisandianmerch.com.
chrisandianmerch.com. I'm logging on right now.
My God.
Efficiency.
It's so funny. So guys, what else are you working on next?
We're currently, I think like the number one thing we want to get going and we're really excited about is a podcast.
Yes.
Because I love to talk and there are things I love to talk about. And Chris and I have very different experiences in the world. I'm a millennial, he's a Gen Z baby. And so there's this, there's a lot of information that I know, and then there's a lot of information that he knows.
And they don't always intersect. So
no, like with the whole like dad gene, mom genes, and
all of
God part,
all of that.
Yes,
right.
Yes. So like our loose idea for the podcast will be trying to kind of intersect the two and see where they meet, challenge each other and see how that goes. But it's kind of still in development. We're still working on it, but we really want to get that going because we've both been looking forward to getting a podcast on its feet for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't want to give up my skinny jeans. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and nor
you don't
should
have
you.
to.
What are you like a skinny jean and then like the oversized t-shirt?
Yes.
Yeah. And like
with
a Van.
Nikes
or
Vans. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good look. The skater look, it's like, it's to me, I think that always, I enjoy like a weird proportion thing. So if like the shirt's big, but you've got these legs, like I just think it makes people look really like cool and dope.
Like I would wear that hoodie with some skinny jeans and like some Nikes or some Vans. Classic Vans.
I will support that. Yes, that's a good look, I think.
Yeah. Cue Avril Lavigne Skater Boy.
Yes, very much.
Hella emo.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So funny. I was on the website and I was like, I'm about to order that hoodie and guys, the things are affordable too. So make sure you log on to the website, chrisandian.com, chrisandianmerch.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
chrisandianmerch.com. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on. It was a great conversation and we'll definitely talk later.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.